Human history and the history of warfare are one and the same. The annals of history are stitched together by blood-stained hands, and it is a record of who waved the white flag, who was massacred, and who lived with the guilt. The Spartans, the Athenians, the Trojans, all have blood-stained history. The Greeks were in constant warfare. The Battle of Thermopylae, the Greco-Persian War, the Peloponnesian War, and the invasion from Iskandar. In all this warfare, they developed better and better technology. The shield took me about 2 months to make. I hand-forged it using angle iron and sheet metal. I rounded the angle iron and then welded on the sheet metal. It is called an aspis shield because it is slightly rounded, and then it also has a wood backing to it. On the front, promptly displayed, is the upside-down letter V, which is the capital letter of Lambda, the definite identification of the Spartan people. My shield is about 25 pounds, with a 30-inch diameter. But historically, the shields could range from 20 to 40 pounds and be as big as 30 inches in diameter. The shield took inspiration from the Shield of Aegis, which was named in many famous works, such as the Iliad by Homer. It was carried by the chief of the gods, Zeus, and the goddess of war, Athena. To represent this, I have the famed Corinthian helmet underneath the lambda. On the back, it calls to glory the great last stand of the 300 Spartans at the Battle of Thermopylae. 300 Spartans against 1,000,000 Persian invaders. These brave men held off the Persians, piling up bodies to form walls in defense of the Grecian people, so that they may bide their time and escape and have future victory. During this battle, the king of the Spartans, the mighty King Leonidas, said in a rallying cry to his people, "Tonight we dine in hell," stirring the hearts of his soldiers so that they may embrace death with fervor. The Persian emperor asked for the Spartans to give up their weapons to their superior force, but in the classical style of Spartan laconic, King Leonidas responded with "Moen abe," meaning "come and take them." This quote still stands on the statue of this fallen hero. So this quote here, I came up with myself, and it reads, "Only the dead have seen the end war." And I chose this because I felt like it embodies both aspects of Athena, the wisdom and the philosophy side, and then also warfare side. Come back on it or with it was the farewell to the Spartan warriors heading off to war, that they should come back with their shields or be killed and be carried back on top. This was said because cowards would drop their shields at the first sight of carnage. So this is the right-handed bracer, which I handcrafted with sheet metal front, and then I forged it out and sewed it onto a leather backing. And in the center here, I hand-carved the Gorgon head Medusa, which is reminiscent of the Shield of Aegis, which is carried by Athena herself. On the other side, I chose to carve the symbol of an owl, which represents Athena, the goddess of wisdom and warfare. I chose to do it on the left side because it is the shield-bearing side, which is reminiscent of Athena and her bearing the Shield of Aegis. On the left greave, I chose to depict the god Hephaestus, my personal favorite god. He is the god of the forge and the blacksmith god. And since I'm an armorer and a blacksmith, he is my patron deity. And I chose to depict him with the volcano around him, and displayed with the tongs and a blacksmith's hammer. Then around him, the quote surrounding him reads, "Progress brings salvation. Salvation breeds chaos. Chaos beckons war." On the other greave, on the right side, I chose to depict the rod of Asclepius, the son of Apollo and the healing god. This symbol was known throughout ancient times as a symbol for healers, and even still today, that remains true. Many medical organizations bear the symbol. It is often depicted with the wings on it as well. In ancient times, tapeworms were quite a prevalent problem. These tapeworms were removed by creating an incision in the patient and slowly coiling the worm around a rod, safely removing them. They would advertise this business on signs, and eventually it became associated with healing and the Greek god Asclepius. For the right shoulder, I took inspiration from the Tamusian fox story, which is a story about a fox and a hound. And the fox uses its cunning and wit to escape from any situation, and the hound is a fabled hunter who is able to catch any prey. And the story goes that they're stuck in an infinite loop of being hunted and escaping. On the left shoulder, I decided to hand carve and paint a horse, which is an integral part of the ancient Greek society. They used them for agriculture and for traveling, and then they also pulled their chariots of war. I took more liberty with the design of the breastplate. Since there are no surviving pieces of leather armor from the Greek era, I had to imagine what it would look like, and I took inspiration from other cultures and other armor techniques. All the red on here is actually metal. I riveted them onto a back piece of leather and then sewed the leather pieces around it, making sure that the leather armor is stiff and ready for protection. For the skirt, since there is such a wide variety of skirts in the ancient world, I decided to go with a style of my choosing, which is a series of buttons that wrap around the entire length of it so that any wearer can wrap around it and have a customized fit. And finally, the Corinthian helmet, with its almond eyes and long flowing plume and its foreboding look. This type of helmet was found throughout all Greece in the 7th to 5th centuries. Both Athena and Ares is represented by this type of helmet. Historically, the helmet is either cast or riveted together. This is the helmet I based mine on. Its name is the Corinthian type of bronze helmet C675. It has an unknown find spot, but is most likely from Macedonia or in the region of ancient Sparta. This ancient artifact now resides in the Pergamon Museum in Berlin, Germany. The time period in which it was from is from 525 to 475 BC. I use this helmet because I like the perforated holes for the shoulders and the shape of the cheek pieces. This helmet took me 6 months to create. I hand forged it using sheet metal, and I researched both ancient and modern day forging techniques. And I chose to have it look like a cast look, and I followed the riveting technique of the ancients, and instead of rivets, I chose to weld it together to give it that one singular form. This is the showcase of my armor, and how it relates to Greek mythology and history. Thank you for watching and listening.